The great American sell-off. That's exactly what's happening in markets. What we are seeing in the macroeconomy and financial markets is it's really confusing, and what we are experiencing, we've never experienced before. So today, I kind of want to make sense of what's happening. This is an extremely niche area, but the American public needs to be aware of the trends that are happening so you can make informed decisions. In short, what was supposed to be Liberation Day has turned into Isolation Day, and that has weakened America's positioning as people have sold off all American assets. All might be extreme, but it looks like it. So, what's the summary of what's happening in the market? First, let's start with the weakening dollar. Global investors are dumping the US dollar and moving it to other currencies. The dollar at the beginning of the year was buying 0.97 euros. As of last night, at close of market, a dollar was only buying 0.88 euros. And this is a huge shift in foreign exchange markets. It's going to impact European travel, becomes more expensive for Americans, but also imports from Europe are going to be more expensive. The concern here is this defies actual expectations. Tariffs usually strengthen the dollar, but we are seeing the opposite happen here, and that's really confusing. It indicates that international confidence is diminishing in the U.S. economy, and people are getting rid of their U.S. assets. So let's talk about treasuries and bonds. We are seeing a sell-off of U.S. treasuries, both from the domestic front and foreign investors are just offloading U.S. debt. And the result here is the price of these treasuries and bonds is falling, and therefore, with the inverse relationship, the yields are increasing. And what we have seen is yields as of close yesterday hit 4.5% roughly. And this causes two major issues. One, it's an indication that the U.S. is no longer a safe haven. U.S. bonds are no longer viewed as reliable global assets when the world faces uncertainty. And that's a big shift in how the U.S. actually fulfills its role in financial markets. As foreigners are selling U.S. assets, they're converting it to cash, but they're not keeping the cash, the dollars, they're moving it to other currencies, and that's why we're seeing the weakening of the dollar. So in short, people are selling America, and this has caused an increase in rising interest rates. The higher yields have impacted higher mortgage rates. The 30-year mortgage is actually currently at almost 7%, and this is going to hurt homeowners and home buyers. But it also raises this contradiction. We've heard bankers throw out this idea that the administration's strategy was actually an attempt to reduce yields and refinance the U.S. debt. So this rumor that the market chaos is calculated and strategic by the administration to refinance U.S. debt cheaply is not true, or it's not actually coming to fruition, even if that was the strategy. What's happening in the markets is we're seeing rising yields, which makes it refinancing of U.S. debt more expensive. And most importantly, the rest of the world is seeing U.S. debt as more risky now than ever before. So what has happened is this, Liberation Day has turned into American Isolation Day. The U.S. is entering uncharted financial territories that it's not used to navigating, and it makes it really difficult for us to predict what happens in financial markets. The U.S. assets have historically been global safe havens, allowing extra fiscal flexibility. But today, we're seeing the opposite of that. So it's going to be really hard to predict what happens in the future. It's a really tough place from an economic and financial situation for the U.S. to be in, and how it's going to react to this new news and new role in the world. We'll have to keep an eye on the markets. I would love to hear what's happening in your economy. Leave a comment. Tell me how you're navigating this volatile market. If you are new here, my name is Dr. Abdul Al-Barani, and I try to make economics as easy to understand for the people that have never taken an economics class or are just interested in learning more about the economy. Appreciate you following and subscribing.